Welcome aboard, everybody. I'm your pilot wannabe for today's flight. We're starting a little differently, as you see. We're ready to take the runway and take off. We're going to try to recreate another historical event here, and we'll talk about it in the flight plan. But we're at the Essex County Airport that I believe is in New Jersey, and we are in a Mooney for this one, and that's not historically accurate, but it's the best I could do. But we'll talk about the details in the flight plan. See you there. All right, and Sky Vector. We are flying from Essex County Airport in New Jersey to the airport on the island of Martha's Vineyard. We are recreating the flight that JFK Jr. Crashed back in 1999. He and his wife and his sister-in-law all went into the Atlantic Ocean at like 250 knots, about 17 miles short of Martha's Vineyard. And I've tried to get the weather and time of day and everything as close to the same as it was then. I'm not trying to demonstrate anything one way or another, but we're gonna talk about some of the aspects of it. There's there's several videos I've watched on it, but I was in this area on the lower 48 states capitals tour, and I mentioned in the last video that I should recreate JFK Jr.'s last flight, and so that's what we're gonna do. But this is roughly the flight plan. I didn't go so far as to look up the actual NTSB data, but he took off from runway 22, made a right downwind departure from the airport. He stayed low under the class Bravo shelf here, which starts at 3,000. He stayed at like 2,500. Came over, followed the Hudson River out from under the class Bravo shelf. Made a couple of turns here that these points are only roughly estimating, but then this final course should be within just a couple of nautical miles of the magenta line he would have been following. So that's pretty close. And then out over here is where he started to get confused and ended up turning south towards the open Atlantic Ocean, which obviously was not ideal. Well, I guess I should talk about the videos I watched. So, let's look at a couple of YouTube channels here. This is Pilot Debrief. I am subscribed to this channel. I watch this guy all the time. He has very good breakdowns of aircraft accidents, a lot of general aviation and smaller plane accidents. He's very systematic, and he treats the content, with a good level of respect. And he doesn't theorize so much as just presents the facts and the possibilities that the facts, indicate. And he did a video on JFK, JFK Jr., I should say. So if you want to look that up, I highly recommend this channel. And then there's this guy who I only have ever watched one of his videos, the one about JFK Jr.'s last flight. And he offers more theories, not wild, crazy theories, because there's some wild theories about that it wasn't an accident, that kind of stuff. Not like that. He has a really interesting theory, though, that I'll get into later on in the flight. Uh, but his theory is part of why I'm flying the plane that I'm flying, the Mooney. But well, we'll get back to that. Not much else I'm going to talk about it. Here we are in the plane. Uh, JFK Jr. was flying a Saratoga. If there's a Saratoga out for Microsoft Flight Simulator, I don't have access to it, being on the Xbox. Ooh, look at the time. He was supposed to have been taking off at 8:40. So I guess, yep, well, there it is. I guess we should take off, and I'll try to talk about stuff on the way. Okay, release the parking brake. Oh, you know what? The barometric pressure. I was just talking about that. Yeah, it should be 3007, I believe. I believe that's what I set it to, because that's what the barometric pressure was supposedly that day. It almost doesn't seem high enough. I feel like the elevation of this airport is a smidge higher than that, but we'll just go with it. It'll be fine. Okay, I released the parking brake. Going full on the mixture. Already got flaps down one notch. I don't have any traffic turned on Simulator 2024 because, you know, gosh, it runs badly enough sometimes without throwing traffic in the mix. I just haven't even tried to run with traffic. Maybe I'll get brave and try it eventually. All right, so we want to do a right turn for a downwind departure from the airport. Going full throttle. And I'll talk a little more after I get off the ground. I'm waiting to see if the landing gear actually comes up like it's supposed to, because the first time I flew this plane, the landing gear wouldn't go up. Seems like it's taking us a little while to gain airspeed. I've only flown this plane a couple of times. I think it's a neat looking plane. All right, cross your fingers. Let's see if it's making noise like the landing gear's going up. Yes, landing gear went up. And let's raise the flaps too while we're at it. Okay, so let's do a gentle right turn. So I tried to simulate the haze that was present. It was like a actual pollution haze. I don't know what that thing was, but yeah, there was an actual like pollution haze the evening that JFK Jr. was flying to or trying to fly to Martha's Vineyard. I'm just gonna roll right into the downwind here because we don't want to get too close to the lower shelf of that West Bravo. Anyway, so I made a low cloud layer, like just over 2,000 feet down to the ground, trying to simulate the haze of pollution hanging over the whole New York area that night, because that was possibly a factor in the accident. I'm doing a lousy job of climbing, huh? I should go ahead and back off the try to not use the autopilot. Ooh, I overdid it. I'm trying to get on course anyway. All right, backed off to around 27. Let's get down to the green on the, what do you call it? Oh, now I'm losing altitude. Yeah, I'm doing a lousy job of this. I haven't flown this plane much, like I said, just a couple of times. Just happy the landing gear came up. Okay, baby, try to get settled here. Anyway, so we're going to try to go up to 2,500 feet to start with. It is possible to pre-select an altitude on this plane, but I don't believe JFK Jr.'s plane had that. The whole reason I'm taking this plane is, besides the fact that it's a somewhat similar plane in that it's a, kind of sleek, high-performance, single-engine plane. The Saratoga is bigger and more powerful, 6 seats and more horsepower, I believe, and this is only 4 seats, but similar performance numbers. But then the main reason is this autopilot down here seems to be virtually identical to what was, I guess, in his plane in the Saratoga. And the guy that's more of a theorist on the cause of the accident, he has an idea about that we'll talk about once I get more under control here. Let's see. Well, we're still climbing anyway. We get to 2,500 feet until we reach the first waypoint. And then we're going to go up to 5,500, which was the altitude he was cruising at. Headed to Martha's Vineyard, at least until he started getting close and started descending. And then I mean, one way or another, everyone pretty much agrees. I mean, unless you have, wild theories about, it being an assassination or something. Everyone pretty much agrees that he had spatial disorientation out over the dark Atlantic with haze over the ground, and then he was facing away from the shore, so no lights to orient himself with. Oops, just blew through 2,500. If I get up to 3,000, I will blow through the Class Bravo, which this is only a simulator, so they can't take my simulated pilot's license away from me. So there's that. Let's go ahead and back the manifold pressure off to around 25 psi, and the RPM's already 24, so I think we'll just leave it. Oh, climbing again. Yeah, once I finally got it all trimmed out to climb, it wants to keep doing that. Boy, my POR was tuned into something that's going crazy. Okay, how long have I got to that first? Really, that far to that first waypoint? Wow. Okay, we might go ahead and use the autopilot, so I don't have to keep fighting this. I'm going to edit out some of the longer portions of this. I know I say this all the time, but I'm going to try to make this a short video. Okay, let's turn on the autopilot. Okay. Autopilot engage. Altitude hold. And oh gosh, we'll go ahead and follow the nav for now. Yeah, so the guy who made the more theoretical guesses as to what happened, why the plane crashed, he seemed to think that, I don't know if this is legitimate or not, he seemed to think this was a very similar autopilot. At least it looked that way in the pictures he was showing. And then, I don't know when Garmin 530s came out, but I don't know, he was kind of talking like he maybe had a Garmin 530 in the plane too. I don't have a clear sense of when you could get a Garmin 530. I suppose we could Google that. I'll Google it at some point where when I've got the recording paused. Anyway, so we got 5.5 minutes until we can start climbing. Let's talk a smidge about the wrong plane here. Let me go to an outside view. Oh, you know what? I did all sorts of stuff wrong. Let's see, I never turned on the fuel pump, which I should have, and so I don't need to turn it off. There's no cowl flaps. I haven't, I suppose I could go ahead and lean the mixture a little bit. I'm just going to lean it to get a little more heat going because we're going to be climbing again in 4.5 minutes. So I'm not going to go crazy trying to get that all set. And then the lights. I didn't I could go ahead and turn off the tag, although the taxi lights aren't hooked to the, attached to the landing gear on this one. They're on the wings, so it doesn't really matter. So let's turn off the taxi lights and turn off the landing lights. I already turned on the transponder for VFR, which this was supposed to be a VFR flight. But a lot of people were saying a night flight over haze probably shouldn't be VFR. Oh, we were smoking. How fast are we going? 174. Yeah, that's about right. See, that's part of the reason I chose this plane too. Like I said, was it seems to have similar performance to the Saratoga, just in a smaller package. Anyway, back to the plane we're in. I think it's pretty neat. It could potentially be a lottery win plane. If I won the lottery, I might consider one of these for my single engine training, and then just keep it. Moonies you could really recognize from the distinctive straight up or almost swept forward vertical stabilizer. Yeah, pretty neat. Very sleek, very cool. And there we are. So, enough about the plane. So, we've got 3 minutes until we need to climb up to 5,500. Yeah, we're probably out from under the Class Bravo shelf already, but anyway, c'est la vie. Anyway, so JFK Jr., I kind of wish he was, I wish he was still alive anyway, because it was tragic that he died, but I'm especially kind of wishing he was still alive for political reasons. Not that I'm ever talk about politics much, but and I'm not going to talk about politics much. I'm only going to say that I have to wonder if JFK Jr. would maybe, if he was still alive, would maybe not be as batshit crazy as his cousin RFK Jr. And that's all I'm going to say. So, moving on. 2 minutes to the climb. I wonder if I should wait to get into the nitty-gritty here until we establish the climb. That means I need to talk about something else for 2 minutes. For whatever reason, this VOR thing is really bothering me. Let's, okay, I wonder if that's connected to nav1. Doesn't appear to be. Okay, let's see. Nav2 down here. This has got to be nav2, right? There we go. Haha! This might be a good plane to do some VOR stuff with. Anyway, minute 22. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and get us established in the climb because, like I said, that shelf for the Class Bravo ended well before this actual waypoint. So let's see if we can get it climbing. This little doohickey is in one or two other planes, and I usually get along with it okay, but for whatever reason in this plane, I can't, it'll let you do a preset vertical speed. And for whatever reason in this plane, I can't get it to display that for me. So, but we're going to go ahead and cheat, and we're going to preset the final altitude. And I think we arm that. And then, see, I thought usually when you hit the vertical speed and you pull a little knob out and then oh, see, it's doing it, I think. See the 3 or 4. Oh, that's not right. Okay, whoa. Disengage. Okay, disengaging. We don't need all that craziness. Okay, so I shouldn't have been screwing around with that. I'm manually trying to get us onto the, yeah. Okay, so we'll try to do a manual climb, if I can get it trimmed back out again. Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yep, never should have tinkered with that. should have just tried to get it to climb manually to begin with. So, after you guys watch me fumble around a little bit, we'll maybe be able to get the autopilot turned back on. Now, I wonder if I were to turn the autopilot back on right now, what do we think it would do? I have some of my autopilot buttons actually not programmed, but bound to some physical buttons, and it seems to be working. I mean, it still loses some of them that I have saved, but it's working for the most part. But because this autopilot is part of what we're going to be talking about, I'm going to try to just use it with the cursor. Oh, that's right. I got to hit the red button again for whatever. When I hit the autopilot disconnect button, I have to hit it again to ever turn the autopilot back on. Okay, there we go. Okay, I guess we could do nav again, right? There we go. Well, climbing at a decent rate, 500 or 600 feet per minute. Now, will it automatically capture 55, or do I need to hit this arm button again? I hate to change anything, so we're going to try to watch it and just hit the altitude hold button when we get close. Sound like a plan? Oh, there goes that again. Huh. What if we change the frequency again? Keep trying to pick non-existent frequencies just for fun, because this flight isn't about navigation. So, anywho. All right, how's things going outside? Yep, getting nice and dark. Still nice and hazy. Sure, seems good. I had made a top layer too. Yeah, I guess there is a high layer. There was supposed to be a cloud layer at like 20,000 feet. And yeah, it looks like I maybe didn't make it dense enough. I don't feel like trying to change it right now, but anyway. Oh, I did actually set I won't show you because it'll cause a big lag spike. But yeah, I actually set it to the correct date, July 16th, 1999. Although because the simulator goes off of UTC, it's actually showing it as being July 17th. Oh, look at that alert. So it knows that we're 1,000 feet from the desired altitude. So yeah, I don't think JFK's plane had this. I think he had to manually capture altitudes, but it really doesn't have anything to do with what we're talking about. So yeah, let's turn some of these lights down, because that's kind of a lot. I don't fly at night a lot, and I was going to try to actually record this at night so that it would be easier for me to see, because it would be dark in the room for sure and everything. And I was going to record it last night. Let's see, what is today? That's a good question. It's Wednesday the 19th. I was going to record it last night, and then I worked super late at work, so I didn't do it last night. And so now I'm trying to do it today before I go to work. And unfortunately, it's daylight, so right about here on my screen is a big reflection from a window behind me in the real world. That sort of sucks. It's fine for you guys, but it sucks for me. Oh, now I got a cat scratching the back of my chair. Hello, Augie. Stop scratching my chair. I'll feed you soon. Anyway, how are we doing? Oh, we're at 53. 5,300. Let's get it captured. We'll get the engine set. We'll talk about what's going to happen, and then I'll skip ahead to where we're going to kind of see if we can make it happen. Oops, I just bumped the rudder pedals with my feet. My rudder pedals screwed down to a piece of plywood now that my chair is sitting on, so they're good and solid. It's pretty nice. Okay, she captured at 55. Let's turn the lights down just a little more while the plane picks up speed. Let's go ahead and will that center automatically? No, it doesn't. I'll turn the knob on my Autopilot box to put the heading there. And just for the sake of complete, oh, we're about to change heading anyway, but bring the CDI needle over as well. So we're about to change course. C097. Okay, is it doing the right thing? Seems to be. It looks more like 087 on the HSI, but whatever. Must be a little bit of a crosswind, although I had to, well, yeah, the wind's going to be the same everywhere, I guess. I set the wind to be what the conditions were on the ground at Essex County when JFK Jr. Took off. And that was wind 5 knots coming from like 220 at 5 knots is what the wind is. So that's what it's going to be everywhere, because that's just how the simulator works. So, I mean, unless I get in the real nitty gritty with the wind layers, which I did not, because I wasn't trying to be that accurate. Anyway, so, oh yeah, let's get the engine set and then we can talk turkey. For manifold pressure, I don't know much about this plane. We're just gonna make 23 squared, I think is what we're gonna go for. So let's see. Oops. Well, I got it right on 23 on the manifold pressure. Let's see what we can do with the RPMs. The other problem with recording at this time of day is the house is being a little more active and noisy. Hopefully that's not being picked up on the mic. 2310 is close enough. Let's see, if we lean the mixture, we're gonna go for, I think, 50 degrees rich of peak, as long as that keeps us in this blue arc here. What do you say? Okay, yeah, there's a really noisy TV now in the room, so hopefully that's not being picked up on the microphone on my headset. Wow, it's topping out pretty good. Going up there. 1492. Columbus sailed the ocean blue. So, 1442. I'm going back rich again. I can bring it down to about 1442. Ooh. Close enough. All right, we have burned 6.9 gallons. Our fuel flow right now is 14.6. It sounds reasonable for this kind of plane. So, all right, now, while we're on the subject of fuel flow, let's talk about that for a second. Okay, we got a tank in each wing. We do not have a setting to draw from both simultaneously. I don't know what the max differential is supposed to be on this plane. Right now we're at 8 gallons, which it's probably a lot. According to the theorist guy, not the pilot debrief guy. I guess I should look at his name, huh? His channel name real quick. FS Mania. Okay. FS Mania. According to FS Mania, the Saratoga, JFK Jr.'s Saratoga, the POH says that you're supposed to burn, when it's full, you're supposed to burn from the left tank for an hour and then switch to the right tank. And the reason I mention this is because he thinks that's a factor in the crash. Because the crash occurred about an hour after he took off, and he thinks that JFK Jr. started to become confused about his situation about the same time he was supposed to be switching tanks, and he probably didn't switch tanks, and this created an imbalance in the aircraft, which may have been partially to blame for the right turn out towards the ocean, and the final moments of the plane, moments of the flight, the plane had been in a death spiral to the right, an uncontrolled, like 90-degree bank right turn, spiraling down into the Atlantic. And so I'll just give you the whole rundown of the guy's theory real quick, because the video itself is like, I don't know, 38 minutes long, which obviously I'm not going to complain about long videos, but anyway, I'll save you the trouble. So he thinks JFK Jr. was doing what I do sometimes in the simulator, which is he thinks that he had tuned in the weather, the ATIS for Martha's Vineyard in his COM2 radio, which would be this radio right now, right here. I'm not going to do all that. We're not going to get in that much detail. But he thinks that he tuned it in and, pushed the button to be monitoring it. And by the way, JFK Jr. had made this very same flight from Essex County to Martha's Vineyard like almost 36 times, almost half of which solo, without an instructor with him. He had some experience. He was not an IFR pilot, though. He had started IFR training, but had stopped when he got a new plane and needed to focus on training on the new plane. But he wasn't an IFR pilot. He was only a VFR pilot. And let's see, I don't know where I was going with all that. But at any rate, so this guy's theory, FS Mania's theory, is that he tuned in the ATIS for Martha's Vineyard and hit the button to, that's not the button, hit the button to monitor it, and was used to doing this and knew that when he got close enough to start receiving Martha Vineyard's ATIS, that was when he needed to start descending, and he needed to call Martha Vineyard's tower, to let him know that he was inbound. So without having any way of knowing for sure that I'm aware of, or that he mentioned, the FS Mania guy thinks that he tuned in the wrong frequency, like maybe missed it by one number. If the crash investigation revealed what the COM2 was set to after sitting on the bottom of the ocean, I don't know. He didn't say so, but he thinks that it was tuned like one number off. And so he believes that about the time that he was supposed to be receiving that and descending, JFK Jr. Became a little preoccupied with why he wasn't receiving that, and he began a descent. Now, keeping in mind he didn't have an apparatus with which to pre-select a desired rate of descent, so he had to get everything kind of set up on his own. So he believes that the FS Mania guy believes that while JFK Jr. was trying to figure this whole radio situation out, he decided to level off at 2,500 feet while he was still like 20 miles away from Martha's Vineyard, which, how far away we're at right now? We're still 108 miles. So he got himself into a descent. He was trying to figure out if something was wrong with his radio. He started a manual descent with the autopilot still on, following nav, most likely. Or actually, he was probably following heading. Yeah, his theory is that he had it on heading, which, yeah, our heading's pretty good. That he had it on heading. And when he got down to 2,500 feet, he wanted to hold the altitude, and that he reached over here to hit the altitude button and instead hit the heading button, which disengaged it and in fact left the autopilot on but not controlling the airplane in any way. And so then JFK Jr. would be like looking at maybe paper charts or something, because this was back in 1999, so it's not like he had a smartphone with all the approach plates and everything on it like we do now, or a tablet or anything. So he would have been, had his flashlight out or whatever and looking at paper charts, trying to confirm the, frequency. Meanwhile, the plane, not, that he thinks is on heading mode, is not on any kind of mode. And all that extra weight in the right wing from the fuel tank still being full drug him into a right turn. He did combat the right turn at one point, but he never really recovered good control of the airplane. He dropped down to like 2,000 feet, and then he climbed back up to near 2,500, but never really got himself pointed back at Martha's Vineyard very effectively, and then got into the right turn that never ended and just spiraled down into the ocean because he completely lost track of the horizon. There's a bit more horizon out here than I actually want there to be, but we have another 15 or so minutes before I'm in the right position. So maybe it'll get darker. I could go ahead, I guess, and make that top layer denser. That would probably help. Okay, prepare for a big spike of lag. And there it is. And there we go. Okay, this top layer. What can we do with this? Yeah, let's, I got a 100% overcast. Let's increase the density. And, let's see, which way does scatter go? Does that make it more scattered or less scattered? Not sure what scatter means in this context. Doesn't really seem to do anything. I guess we'll leave it in the middle-ish. Okay, max that stuff out. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, but the idea was that that he really had no horizon to look at out there over the ocean, although we can see one now, and that he had turned away from the lights and everything here, so couldn't see which way he was going. That's the idea. Anyway, so my plan is to see if we can kind of reproduce that situation, but if I can help it, I'm not going to spiral down into the ocean. I'm going to try to recover from the spin and go ahead and conduct a landing at Martha's Vineyard. That's my plan. We'll all find out how it really goes, once we get there. So, okay, be back with you in a few minutes. All right, guys, just wanted to check in because we are officially going to be out over the water for the rest of the flight. Just see how dark it was out here. Hopefully you can see it once you're watching this video on a phone and some bright sunlight. You might not be able to. So yeah, the remaining 46 miles are going to be over water until or if we reach Martha's Vineyard. Then of course there'll be a couple miles of land there before getting to the airport. So it's gotten nice and dark. I feel like you can still see a little bit of a horizon out there though, which I was really trying to eliminate, but who knows? We got a few more minutes here. Well, only about 5 minutes, because you would want to be descending about 10 minutes before the destination because at 500 feet per minute, to get down to 1,000 feet for a panther altitude, that'd be like 9 minutes. So yeah, really got only about 5 minutes until I start descending, and when I get to 2,500, I'm going to intentionally hit the wrong button, and we'll see what happens. As a matter of fact, why don't we go ahead and switch to heading mode now? So that's about the heading, right? And that's that. So for frame of reference, so that's about the heading. Let's go ahead, and I keep trying to grab the wrong mouse. I have a mouse for the Xbox and a mouse for the computer that I'm recording with, and they're right next to each other. The mouse for the Xbox is rollerball, so that helps differentiate, but still easy to get confused. Okay, let's switch that to heading. Now, one thing I'm going to talk about real quick is the fuel differential Yeah, normally I would not allow allow myself into this kind of a condition. I don't like, no matter what the POH says on a plane, which I have no idea what it is on this one. Yeah, we're at what are we, 15-gallon differential? Yeah, usually about 5. Like if it's a plane where you have to switch, I'll I'll run this. Yeah, I've got 14 gallons down in the left tank compared to the right. Usually I would run out 5 gallons and then switch until the right tank is 5 gallons below the left, and then switch back again. So I'd be burning 10 gallons at a time, once I got rolling. But it would be, there would only ever be a 5-gallon differential. But according to the FS Mania guy, the Saratoga says to switch tanks every hour, and he also said that it should have been burning like 16 gallons an hour, which is a couple more gallons an hour than what we're burning, I believe. Let's see. Oh, wrong. What do I got to hit here? Oh, it's just that close. Sorry. How much we've used and how much we burned are that close. 14.7. So, gallon and a half more. Oh. All right. So, yeah, only 3 minutes till we start the descent. I guess I'm not checking in. I guess this is just what we're doing now. We're gonna do it. Sorry, I keep getting totally molested by this cat. Will not leave me alone. And I would pause it and run up and feed her, but then she'd just be back 10 minutes later to continue messing with me. So we're just gonna work with it. What are we at? 12:22. All right, can we see anything out of this plane? Well, I have this enormous, like rectangular bright spot reflecting on my TV screen. That's not helping matters any, but yeah, you can still kind of see. What about back towards the land? I really can't even see all that much off that way, other than that the low clouds are illuminated from the city below. Yeah. Can't see, I personally can't see anything straight ahead. Maybe a little bit of cloud illumination from Martha's Vineyard itself, I bet, because we're 32 miles. All right, so I'm going to disengage in another minute. I'm going to disengage the altitude hold and see if I can get us into a bit of a descent. How's our engine temperatures and stuff doing anyway? I mean, this plane is, I believe, a Coronado, so you can't really break it, I don't believe. Let's see, oil temperature. Where do I find? Oh yeah, CHT is in the middle. 347, not terrible. One way or the other, I guess. Now we got the. Man, this VOR is ready to work, I tell you. Oh gosh. Yeah, maybe we'll do a VOR flight with this plane, because it seems to really want to work. Okay, let's think about the descent here. I'm gonna go ahead and back off the throttle. Actually, I'm gonna enrich the mixture a smidge and back off the throttle. I don't want to get too slow, because the FS Mania guy's theory is that JFK Jr. was distracted by a lot of things. Some things maybe not even involved in the flight, also, like potentially marital issues and business issues and things like that. He was running a magazine that was struggling financially and stuff like that. Okay, well, I want to disengage the altitude. There we go. Took 2 tries to disengage the altitude. All right, I'm just going to try to give it a little nose down trim here. responding to the wheel. I'm hitting the switch. But anyway, his FS Mania guy, his theory, God, it does not want to descend. I keep hitting the trim down. Nothing's happening. Okay, fine. See if I can get this to work. I hit the wrong switch. Vertical speed. Okay, hopefully it doesn't go ballistic. The FS Mania guy. Oh shit, that's what happened last time. See if I can fix it. It's because you can't see the vertical speed display. That's what's going wrong. If you spin this knob, you get 1,000 feet at a time of vertical speed. If you could stay on this knob, you get 100 feet at a time. And I slipped off of that knob and hit the 1,000 feet. And so I started giving myself like 1,300 feet vertical speed. Normally it switches and you can see what you're setting it to. This one is not switching for some reason. I have a feeling it's a bug. Okay, I'm not going to bother pre-selecting. We're just going to try to watch for 2,500. Anyway, as I've been trying to say, the FS Mania guy, his theory is that JFK Jr. wasn't monitoring his speed very well, and his descent was faster than he intended it to be, and he was still like, you know, the better part of 20 miles from the airport when he was when he was descending, and he was still having trouble with the radio and was confused, and that's why he tried to level off at 2,500. We're actually going to end up a lot closer to the island than we're supposed to be, because we're already at 20 miles. Yeah, he crashed 17 miles short of the airport. We're still at 4,500 feet. Yeah, let's go ahead and dump our altitude here. Oh, keep turning the knob the wrong way. You know, if I could see the display, it would certainly help. Forget what other planes have this. There's at least one other, maybe two. I feel like it's maybe the Coronato's Beechcraft Bonanza has this. Which, while we're descending, let me take a moment while we're on the subject of Beechcraft. I mentioned in the last video that we were in the Cessna 404 Titan, and I mentioned that I was probably going to pick up the Beechcraft Baron also. And I did, and experiencing severe buyer's remorse. It was cheap. It was under $10, but I never should have got it because it's a kooky model from a software standpoint. I got to really cut the throttle. We're getting up into the yellow on the indicated airspeed. It's a kooky model from a software standpoint, the Baron is. It's a lot of things that should work, don't work. I'm not going to get into the details right now. But the most offensive thing about it is that the power numbers when you're taking off are all wrong. It takes off like it's a turboprop or a jet or something. I just about ripped the landing gear off of it. Taking off, you can easily take off at half throttle, but then once you're starting to climb, then the numbers go back to normal, and then you're trying to climb at half throttle. It's very confusing. It's stupid. Never should have got it. So on the off chance there's somebody out there that, oops, I need to hit the altitude hold button. Okay, so there we are. Let's bump the throttle back up a little bit. What we're gonna do is I hit the appropriate button, but we're guessing that he did not, is what the FS Mania guy says. He thinks that instead of hitting the altitude to level off at 2500, he missed the altitude and hit the heading button. So now the autopilot isn't doing anything except presenting us with supposedly with a flight director. It's still trimmed out pretty good, this plane, obviously. It's still flying pretty much level. I don't know how accurate this test is, because, let's see. Yeah, I would have thought the autopilot, well, let's disengage the autopilot entirely. Will that get us into trouble with this 16-gallon fuel differential? Okay, now we've started a little bit of a lazy right-hand turn. We're too close to to our destination right now, so I kind of fouled that up. Oh, this is working now, by the way. The rocker switch is working. Yeah, look, the right turn is increasing. But so far, we're not losing altitude, which is somewhat... Oh, there it's starting to go. Yeah, things are slowly going haywire. So the idea that FS Mania had was that during this, JFK Jr. was fiddling around with maps and stuff. Of course, we were, maybe 10 nautical miles further away. I botched this up somehow. Maybe I was going too fast. I don't know. But, we're slowly losing altitude. Yeah, I'm not sure how long it would take to get into a full spiral on its own. But anyway, so he would have been fiddling around with his maps, erroneously confident in the idea that the autopilot was holding his altitude and heading, when in fact the autopilot was doing nothing of the kind, was not holding any of that. And then by the time he did notice what was going on, him not being an instrument-rated pilot, the main thing he was noticing was a descent on the vertical speed indicator. Let me kill some more power. Maybe that'll help the descent here. Yeah, there you go. So the main thing he noticed was the vertical speed and the altimeter winding down. And I don't know what that big noise is that happens in this plane. It happens when you're picking the livery too. Oh, lights down there. What is that, Martha's Vineyard that I'm already over? Am I past it? Oh yeah, I made a big spiral over Martha's Vineyard because I got too close. Anyway, so the idea was that he wasn't paying attention as much to his attitude indicator, and he just ended up pulling up, which once you're in a spiral like that, pulling up just makes it worse. You're supposed to neutralize the yoke, cut the throttle, which, by the way, when you cut the throttle, you should go full on the mixture. Supposed to neutralize the yoke, cut the throttle, and counter with the opposite rudder. So in this case, with the left rudder. I should probably, if I'm going to try this, I should do it soon. And if I survive, well, one way or another, we'll talk about it. But let's go ahead and make this worse. Yeah, so then he was pulling up and it just got worse. Now I'm gonna okay. Yep. Oh, yep, I did it. Wiped out. You crashed. Okay, so check this out. This is what Flight Simulator 2024 does when it gives you a black screen. Now it just resets you in the air over wherever it was that you crashed. Not entirely sure I approve of that. But, it is what it is. So, I wonder if we can actually conduct a landing now, though. What's our altitude? Oh, 600 feet. That's low. I don't know about you guys, but I can't see anything except that big reflection of the window behind me. Okay, I'm trying to climb a little bit. Let's see, I'm full on the mixture. That's fine at this altitude. 700 feet. I'm trying to turn towards the airport. I don't know anything about the runways here. You know, I didn't plan ahead. I was actually just really thinking about the crash part of things. There we go. Care about the weather right now. Just give me some direction.
Vineyard Tower, November 8-5 Papa Whiskey Bravo is 9 miles southwest 800 feet with Gulf to land.
9 miles south.
November 8-5 Papa Whiskey Bravo Vineyard Tower Airport is currently IFR. Request denied.
Oh, is that so? That was unexpected. Request denied. What a jackwad there. Yeah, let's see. Can't turn the... No. Hold altitude. Okay, you're gonna hold the altitude? You're not holding the altitude, buddy. Hold altitude. Okay. Oh my god. Fine, never mind. Guess I gotta keep going in manually. At 675 feet. Wow. That was rude. Martha's Vineyard. Enable ignoring weather at this airport. Request full stop landing. There we go. I wish they'd let you declare like an emergency. Say, look, dude, I gotta land no matter what. It is really dark out here. 3008, that's close enough to what I'm already at. 24. Okay. Oh, losing altitude again. Jesus. Man, there's a lot to think about. Especially when you can't see the ground. Okay, don't climb like crazy. Alright, I gotta get speed under control. Oh my god, the climbing. Okay, I disengaged the autopilot. So, yeah, 2-4. That's about, oh my god. Trying to look at something. Oh, now I'm dropping. Okay, finally answered him. Okay, so if I'm not even pointed at the airport anymore because I got too distracted trying to do everything. Oh my god, dropping like a rock again. I'm completely screwing this up. $500 feet. I'd like to overfly the airport if I could find it. Okay, is that the airport? I see some blinky lights. Okay, so unfortunately, we're gonna have to call this an upwind. Turn all the lights on. Let's see, the landing gear speed is, if I'm remembering, 152. Oh god, we're fine on that. Let's go for some landing gear. I'm not gonna mess with the flaps until we're at least on the legitimate downwind. Okay, so we're doing an upwind. Oh my god, losing altitude like madness again. God, it will not. Every time I think I got it trimmed halfway decently, the bottom just falls out of it. Come on, stop dropping like that. Jesus, how much nose up trim do I have to give you?
Papa Whiskey Bravo wind 234 at 5. Clear to land runway.
Why is wind? He said wind instead of wind. That's super weird. Let's answer him.
Clear to land runway 24 Papa Whiskey Bravo.
Except I'm only in the crosswind now. Yeah, there's the wrong end of our runway. I guess I should turn the blinky lights off because they're kind of interfering with visibility a little bit. Okay, let's go on a downwind. Oh, I did this all wrong. I'm all backwards. I was on a downwind. Now I'm on an upwind. Jeez. I couldn't screw this up worse if I tried. We're gonna go on a curtailed upwind now. Yeah, if I'd got myself all set up, I could have just turned and landed. But I got all turned around and backwards. All turned around and backwards. Okay, come on. Uh-oh. I was too busy looking at the HSI. Okay, fine. A little more throttle then. Yeah, see, it's really easy once you start having a few different things going on. It's real easy to get confused. Okay. Plus, I was trying to figure out why this looked like it did. I guess because we were getting near stalling. Okay, let's try again. Okay, stop with the climbing. Oh my god. Oh my god. I still might crash again. And oh my gosh. And I overshot the heading. I'm gonna screw around and lose track of the runway. Never mind, I've already screwed around and lost track of the runway. Yeah, this is how people die. Yeah, I've lost track of the runway. I'm having trouble keeping control of the plane. Oh my god. I cannot keep control of this thing. Okay, let's try something. Let's try turning the autopilot back on. Will you... No, you won't. Okay. Will you hold an altitude? Why won't the autopilot hold the altitude? Okay. Jeez. All right. The airport's behind us. It's still not holding the altitude, really. Oops. Heading. Give it a little more throttle. Yeah, it's still doing a somewhat miserable job of holding the altitude. So I read an interesting comment in one of the pilot debrief videos. And me finally getting the autopilot engaged here made me think about it. It was something along the lines of, somebody said their flight instructor told them this. It was something along the lines of, don't bet your life on the autopilot, but also don't be afraid to let the autopilot save your life. And that was definitely the situation we were just now in, where I'm like, okay, I'm having too much trouble getting this plane that I'm not familiar with to hold steady. So I went ahead and used the autopilot so we wouldn't hit the ground again. Okay. Now, let's try. Okay, look, there's the airport. So, and there's the runway. So it's over there somewhere. Turning our heading. Turning us towards the runway heading. We'll see what we see. Is it out there somewhere in the mist? Well, I mean, that's got to be it, right? Why is it over there? Because it is over there. Turning us about 90 degrees to the runway heading right now. Yeah, at this point, it is going to be a miracle if I can get this plane landed. We're probably too close to really legitimately try and make that, aren't we? So we're going to pass it and do like a 360 degree turn. Oh my gosh, yeah, this is ending up taking a lot longer than I thought because of me totally screwing this up. Okay. Okay. I'm not going to bother trying to slow down because we're already down into the flap speed. And we've had the landing gear down this whole time. Gear down, yes. I'm trying to get turned around. We make a right turn onto the final is the plan. Is that it way over there? That can't be it, can it? Oh wait, there it is. Okay, killing the autopilot again. Turning towards, trying to turn towards runway heading. Yeah, when you can't see the horizon, it definitely makes things a lot more interesting. And by interesting, I mean scary. Okay. I'm too low. I'm off track. Now I'm too fast. I'm going for a notch of flaps anyway. So I need to try to get this all stabilized. Okay, I'm full on the mixture, full on the prop, full on the throttle back. Okay, whoa, I don't know what that was. But, let's see, we might live. I'm going full flaps yet because you're still pretty fast. Okay, full flaps. I think we're still too high speed for that, but I've got the throttle pretty much cut now. Sheesh, that was crazy. Okay, raising the flaps back up. I gotta fly this plane more and get more used to it. Trying to trim it out in the dark haze was not working out for me. But I did manage to land.
Bravo, turn next taxiway.
Yeah, I can't even see the taxiways, dude. I got all my lights on. But, oh, that was a taxiway we just passed. All those blue lights are blending together. Is there one at the end of the runway? Let's see. Looks like. Okay. Alright, I'm not gonna bother with parking and all that. Yeah, I'm doing it, man. I'm doing it.
Papa Whiskey Bravo contact ground on 121.
Yeah, we're not gonna do that because we're just gonna shut down right here. But I'll agree with him anyway.
For Papa Whiskey Bravo.
Okay, doing the parking brake. Okay, and we'll just call this a debrief because that ended up going long because of my issues with landing. I probably just would have ended the video if it was like Simulator 2020 and the black screen ended the flight. I probably just would have ended the video then, but because the new one just gives you endless retries and puts you right back in the air, I thought, well, I might as well try to land. Yeah, wasn't that fun. Okay, so this wasn't really intended to be informative, but at least maybe you found it interesting. And I suggest checking out those videos. They're both interesting. The pilot debrief one is probably, well, definitely just more factual. Whereas the FS Mania one, like I said, I don't know how he would know. I mean, they're theories, theory that JFK Jr. mistuned his radio, and a theory then that he accidentally disengaged the heading hold instead of engaging the altitude hold. Sure seems reasonable. And even if I had a Saratoga in the simulator, just because it didn't really get into an aggressive spiral with the fuel differential doesn't mean that, it just could be a simulator thing. Also, once that happened, I forgot I should have switched to the fuller tank before trying to land, but oh well. Maybe I'll do another video on this plane where we're not trying to do anything stupid. Of course, almost everything I do is probably a little stupid, but c'est la vie. All right, we'll call it quits on this one, and until next time, everybody, this is Papa Whiskey Bravo signing off.